It's my privilege to be the coordinator of all of the HeERO sites across Europe. So currently I still have, officially still 15 sites that I'm working with. I was really young when I started this, 21, look at me now. So we have the 15 sites, but as you've heard already in the policy session, HeERO is very important to Europe, but it's gone beyond Europe now. We now have another 8 countries, 4 of which are outside of Europe, who are now looking to deploy eCall based on 112. So that's no mean feat. So Europe should be very proud of what they've achieved. So the title of this session is eCall. The 3 speakers you have here are going to speak about the 3 pilot sites, their experiences, and they're all different, I promise you that. And I'm just going to set the scene first. My slides have been reduced slightly because somebody borrowed them in the previous session, but I'll run through them anyway, and I have some different slides and some different comments. So let's get going. I've been told very strictly that I must finish by 1 o'clock. Otherwise, you won't get any food. Food is important. So we'll be finished by 1, I promise. Okay, let's get on. So this is what I want to talk about. Very brief. I can move over what eCall is very quickly. Talk about the difference that eCall will make to the first responders, and I'm really pleased to see members of the Hellenic Rescue Services here, the police, the fire and the medical services. Talk a little about the lessons that HeERO has taught us, because there have been a lot and there are still more to be learned. And the challenges that we face, because there are still a lot of challenges. We've just had a very brief discussion, and the challenges, I promise you, are not technical. They are all political. So anyway, let's get on. You've seen this picture before. eCall is three main parts. So, some equipment in the car, and you'll see that just after lunch. Mobile network, I'm sorry, you won't see that, but you'll see the effect of it. And then the public safety answering point, the very important place, 112. Very pleased to see and to hear the comments from Dimitris about 112 in Greece and how it works. But also, if you paid attention to the slides that he put up about how difficult it is to make 112 work and put eCall in it. So let's move on. So what difference is eCall going to make to the rescue services? Police, the fire, the ambulance. First thing, it will give you an accurate location. First time. Not somebody says, well, I think I'm at the end of the street. No, you're actually there, 50 metres from the end of the street. We know where you are. It will identify the vehicle, very important for the fire service. On their way to the rescue, they know what they're going to find when they get there, where the airbags are, where the battery is, what needs to be cut off, what fuel type that vehicle has. Absolutely vital now. But this 112, the eCall based on 112, is changing fundamentally how the PSAPs operate, the public safety answering points. Because there's not just one type of eCall, there's actually 3. You have eCall based on 112, this is the HeERO project. You have third-party service eCall from a car maker, so BMW, Mercedes, Volvo, someone like that. And then you have a hybrid, which currently the only version is from Ford. So you have the Sync version, which is here now. So you have to be able to manage those in a seamless manner. But what has happened in the last 6 months, because of the legislative process that has to be gone through, there has been a vacuum. There's been a void. And the vehicle manufacturers have moved to fill this void by increasing the number of third-party service eCall. So be aware, this is increasing and will continue to increase. So this is what all the fuss is about for eCall. This is what a PSAP operator will see on their screen. They'll get all of that information, and if they have the correct decoding permissions, they'll be able to know where that vehicle came from throughout Europe, who owns it, what it looks like, when it was made, everything. And also all of these additional pieces of information about the last 3 positions and which way it's facing. So absolutely key information. It changes, it's a game changer. It completely changes how the rescue services respond. These are our pilot sites. These are the ones that are working in HeERO 1 and HeERO 2. So we've got 15 official sites. I can't get the globe in, I'm sorry, but of the associate sites, of which there are 8, we have Kazakhstan, Israel, Japan, so they're off my map. They're around the other side, so I can't turn that round. But then we also have other member states who are upgrading their systems at their own expense, but they're using the technical expertise, which is, you will see demonstrated here today. So they're learning from the mistakes and the experience of HeERO to make sure that they can make their change in the most effective way. So, this was my end of school year report for HeERO 1 at December this year, so at the end of 2013. And it hasn't changed very much. A number of member states are still waiting for the legislation to be finalised before they commit themselves. They are member states who are not enthusiastic about eCall, and there are some. And it's, well, I won't do it until I absolutely have to. Well, you've heard today they're going to have to. So until the legislative procedures are completed, they won't do anything until they're forced to. There is still clarity required about type approval, and you've heard that work is ongoing, and we are assisting with the drafting of the specifications for the type approval. Mobile networks, I'm very pleased to hear that the testing, which will start next week, will have eCall flag in Greece. Not all of the HeERO 1 pilot sites were that fortunate, and neither are all of the HeERO 2 pilot sites. That's key. And to be able to demonstrate and use the eCall flag, so that tells the telecommunication system where to send eCall. Absolutely vital. So that's a very important and very, very important moment for Greece. But not all mobile networks are that keen to support. At a corporate global level, yes, we support it. When you start to talk to them at member state, it becomes more complicated. Next one, member state ministries need to work together. And there was a fantastic picture today because you had your Deputy Minister and Secretary Generals who need to make eCall work in Greece, all sitting together. In the UK, I'm not that lucky. I've got 5 ministries who are all sitting around a table looking at each other going, no, it's your turn to go first. No, actually, you should go first. Who's going to pay for it? Well, I think it's your turn to pay. No, I'm not going to pay. So that is where we start to talk about it gets politically complicated in each member state. And only now, when the member states are finally getting round to doing this, they realise that it's not just one decision. You need 2, 3, maybe 4, or even if you're really unlucky, 5 ministries to work together. And the most important thing for the rescue services and the PSAPs, your operational practices will change forever because of the information you will receive. And you need to understand how good eCall is, whether it's from a manual button or from an automated response and what the difference means. And then we come to the last one. And I have to applaud the video that was made here in Greece, because we've got a number of them now. We've got probably about 2.5 hours worth of video, I would think, across the member states. But your video is really good, because you could show that to a citizen and they're going to go, yeah, I think I understand what eCall means, and also what you shouldn't do with eCall. And as was said in the last session, I wonder what this button does. And it will happen. So, the challenges that still face eCall. The false manual call, which is what I've just spoken about. The cost of the upgrade to the public safety answering points. And that's completely dependent on each member state. We need to achieve a uniform quality of service across Europe. And ENA are at the actual focal point of that, because they are the representatives for 112 in Europe, so it makes sense that they should be driving this as well. Be aware of the changes that third-party service eCall will make, because they will. You will have vehicle manufacturers which will come to your door and say, I've got eCall, and I need you to receive my data as well as eCall based on 112. Just remember, there's no such thing as bad eCall, but that is a commercial service. Someone has paid for it. It's not free. And it will also get much more complicated. Cross-border incidents, they need to ensure that when the eCall is triggered, it goes to the right PSAP in the right country. And we're doing a lot of work with that. And the quality of aftermarket devices. Whilst eCall on 112 will deal with new types of vehicle from the 1st of October 2017 at the latest, what about the 293 million other vehicles in Europe? Outside, in the main foyer, you will see a range of devices that are out there. There's one that is this big. That's about €30. It complies completely with all the eCall standards, but it's to a point where an insurance company, a motoring organisation, could offer that to a member for free within a membership or an insurance premium. That completes my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Josif Patsiavos. I am the member state leader of the Greek pilot site in the HeERO project, and I'm also director of Passenger Transport Directorate in the ministry. In my presentation, I will focus on the actions that have been completed or planned for the next 2 months for the successful introduction of eCall in Greece. I will also present the outcomes of the participation of the Greek pilot site in the HeERO project, since the project is a cornerstone action for the pan-European introduction of eCall. The eCall is widely accepted by the Greek public opinion. 79%, the greatest percentage in Europe according to the Eurobarometer, would like to have eCall in their next car. In line with this, with the public opinion, the Greek state has signed the eCall Memorandum of Understanding in 2005 and has participated in all relevant initiatives. eCall operation is based on pan-European emergency number 112. In Greece, we have, as we have heard in the morning by the Secretary General of Civil Protection, one central 112 PSAP. Emergency services, such as fire brigade, police, etc., operate their own regional emergency centers. Voice calls to 112 are dispatched from the central 112 PSAP to the appropriate emergency service after a short discussion with 112 operator. The operator of incidents requiring more than one emergency service are coordinated by the Operation Center of the General Secretariat of Civil Protection. The operator of the central PSAP may stay on the line in order to ensure the successful handling of the incident, for example, by providing interpretation to the discussion. The Greek Ministry of Infrastructure, Transport and Networks participated in the HeERO project since its initial phases from the drafting of its proposal to the European Commission. In the beginning of the project, a Greek task force has been created with the participation of key Greek stakeholders, such as the General Secretariat of Civil Protection, Fire Brigade, Police and others, in order to have a common approach to the issues that would arise from the introduction of eCall in Greece. The key milestones for the implementation of eCall in Greece are the following. First, the operation of an eCall pilot PSAP within the context of the HeERO project. The eCall pilot PSAP has been installed here in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Transport and Networks, and a demonstration of its operation will be given later today. The eCall pilot PSAP has been verified by a series of tests that have been done in order to ensure its ability to handle different kinds of incidents. Interoperability tests have been performed with the equipment of other countries and manufacturers in order to ensure the compatibility of the PSAP and its ability to perform a real pan-European eCall service. Also, tests with an active eCall flag configuration is planned for next month. And after the completion of all the tests, the equipment of the pilot PSAP will be transferred to the General Secretariat of Civil Protection for future use. The eCall pilot PSAP is capable of terminating eCalls initiated from in-vehicle system of the cars to the pilot PSAP. The PSAP in its current configuration supports 2 operators with the option of expanding them to more than 10. The operation of the PSAP is web-based, which means that the operators of the other emergency services can have access to the incident's data through the internet, and along with the voice call that has been dispatched. In the testing phase of the HeERO project, in phase 1, we have made 1,446 eCalls, out of which 1,268 automatic and 178 manual calls. The tests have been performed in Thessaloniki and Athens under several traffic environments in 4 scenarios, rural, urban, and 2 scenarios for highways. SIM cards by all the 3 Greek mobile network operators were used, but without eCall flag for the routing of the call to the PSAP. In phase 2, we have foreseen tests with eCall flag with one mobile network operator, and this will be done next month in May. In this slide, you can see the setup of the eCall initiated from IVS and terminating to the eCall PSAP. The operator of the PSAP handles the incidents and has the possibility of forwarding the call to the local authorities or the other emergency services. In the testing phase, first we have made tests in Thessaloniki, 758 tests, under these traffic environment scenarios, rural, urban, and highway. And you can see on the map the location of the test eCalls in the area of Thessaloniki. The same also in Athens. We have made 688 tests under the same traffic scenarios. And you can see on this map the location of the test eCalls in the greater area of Athens. Interoperability. Greece has participated in the test fest in Essen in September 2013, and the Greek eCall pilot PSAP achieved 100% compatibility with the equipment of the other countries and manufacturers. Also, interoperability tests have been performed with Romania and Bulgaria in February 2014, and they were all successful. Based on these results, we strongly believe that the eCall pilot PSAP is ready, is capable of operating a real pan-European eCall service. eCall flag or eCall discriminator is a must-have or a prerequisite for the proper operation of the eCall. It is actually a bit that is set in the signaling messages sent from the IVS to the PSAP, to the network of the mobile network operators, and supports the proper routing of the call to the PSAP. Next month, as I have said before, we plan to have tests with one Greek mobile network operator who has already installed the eCall flag software covering the whole city of Athens. All the other Greek MNOs, the other two, are foreseen to have installed the necessary software for eCall flag and be ready for operation by the end of 2014. Upon completion of the HeERO project, all the eCall PSAP equipment will be transferred to the General Secretariat of Civil Protection for connection with the 112 PSAP. In full deployment, the eCall PSAP will operate along with the new 112 PSAP, a new project launched by the Ministry of Public Order and Citizen Protection, and has been explained very explicitly in the morning by the Secretary General of Civil Protection. Thank you for your attention.
Good morning. My name is Mustafa Sanli. I am from Aselsan. Today, in this short presentation, I will briefly present you the Turkish pilot site. In this presentation, I will start by introducing the eCall pilot in Turkey. Then we will see the system architecture. After that, I will introduce the project partners. Following that, we will have a look at the system implementation. And finally, at the end of my presentation, I will conclude with the expected outcome. Now, I will start with the eCall pilot in Turkey. In Turkey, we have a new 112 model. This new model is being implemented currently. In the new 112 model, in each of the 81 provinces, we will have a separate PSAP. And in these 112 centers, all the emergency services will be collected in the same PSAP. Currently, this new model is implemented in 12 provinces. The implementations were carried out by Aselsan. And the new model is planned to cover whole Turkey by the end of 2018. The pilot eCall system is planned to be integrated into this model, and the pilot eCall will be a small part of this new 112 model. Antalya is selected as the pilot site. Antalya was also the pilot site for the 112 model. Now, Antalya is once more a pilot site, this time for eCall. This slide shows the Turkish eCall system architecture. In the case of an accident, the eCall is initiated by the IVS device in the car. Then the eCall is carried in the GSM cloud. Then it's transferred to the public switch telephone network. In the PSTN network, the eCall is delivered to the eCall gateway in the PSAP. In PSAP, we have two eCall taker PCs, eCall management servers, and database servers. We have also an external database for data storage. The PSAP is also connected to the mobile network operator's location database through internet connection. When the GPS information from the IVS device is not present, the location information that is taken from the mobile network operator can be very useful. The existing 112 PSAP and the new eCall PSAP will operate under the same roof and will operate in the same center. In the picture, we saw the 112 PSAP for Antalya. In the mobile network, all the eCalls are identified according to the eCall flags, and the identified eCalls are delivered to this unique PSAP. The 112 model and the eCall model use some of the PSAP components in common. These components are local area network and storage area network components, system management, session, and user management service. And also, the eCall PSAP has some components unique to itself. These components are PRIC gateway and eCall management servers. In our system solution, each server and each critical device is used in pairs. When there is a failure in one of the devices, the pairing device takes over the operation. So as a result of this system design, we have a redundant system solution. In the PSAP, we have two eCall operators. These eCall operators monitor the MSD data on their screen on the call taker application. They see the incident location on the map, and when needed, they can make voice communication with the passengers in the car. The voice communications are recorded in a database for possible future reference. The eCall takers send the incident information to the 112 system. And as a result of this system design, any type of vehicle, if it is equipped with an IVS device, will be able to take service from the eCall PSAP. At this point, I want to introduce the project partners of the Turkish eCall pilot. In Turkey, the authority responsible for the 112 and eCall projects are Ministry of Interior. For eCall projects, we have several companies involved in the project. This table summarizes the major partners in the project. The PSAP service provider and technology provider is Aselsan. The mobile network operator is Turkcell. Fixed network operator is Türk Telekom. The IVS providers and automotive technology providers are Tofaş and Oyak Renault. Next, we will have a look at the general picture about the system implementation. We have currently completed the implementation tests. We generated manual eCalls in the mobile network operators testbed in Istanbul. These eCalls are discriminated according to their eCall flags in the mobile network. We have received these eCalls and collected them in Aselsan's testbed in Ankara. In our testbed in Ankara, we extracted the MSD data and we monitored the meaningful information on the call taker application. Currently, we have started the field tests. Hardware and software system components are currently being installed in Antalya, And after that, we will be collecting the field data in a very short while. In the field tests, we have 4 test vehicles. 2 of them are Switronics devices, and the other 2 are magnetomarelli devices. In the field test, we generate manual eCalls and collect the information that is received from these IBS devices. In this picture, we see the screenshot of the eCall query interface. In the left column, we see the eCall events that are received in the system. In the right, the application displays the content of the MSD data and other meaningful information about the selected item. And in the bottom, the application displays a log of the related PSAPs events of the selected eCall application. Finally, at the end of my presentation, I want to talk about the expected outcome of this pilot project. We will make several field tests, and these test results will be evaluated by many different parties. The first outcome of this pilot project will be the identification of the necessary upgrades for PSAP and telecommunication infrastructure. The second outcome will be the evaluation of the test results by automotive manufacturers in Turkey. And the third result is the determination of a plan for a nationwide eCall deployment according to the pilot results. Without any doubt, these valuable outcomes will be achieved by putting effort in the eCall project. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your time and listening to me. Thanks.
I will try to outline the status of eCall pilot in Bulgaria. The all eCall pilot in Bulgaria is going under the European legislation, what is available at the moment. At the same time, Bulgaria transports some legislative acts, ITS directive, according with the delegated acts, which concerns the specification of PSAP upgrade. The third one here, item road transport, is some model of the type directive. There is an amendment from 12 to this act, where is established advisory board of experts to the Minister of Information and Communication in Bulgaria in order to help in deployment of eCall. Also, Bulgaria adopted the main standards at the moment from the MSD, HWAP, operating requirements, and third-party support. This is the legislative framework. In order to manage better the project and to be in line with the project timetable, in Bulgaria was established a consortium that covers practically the whole chain of eCall. The MNO is a mobile tel operator in Bulgaria. The PEPSAPs are responsible National 112 System of Ministry of Interior, Enterprise Communication Group, and 2 producer of the IVS. One is ICOM for retrofit devices, and the Technical University of Sofia. On the basis of monthly meetings and technical expert meetings, all the issues are put on the table, trying to find a solution and to manage better in order to keep the timelines of the project. What is the model of implementation of eCall in Bulgaria? The Bulgaria eCall model is fully integrated. Servicing of eCall is fully integrated in the existing 112 system and follows, of course, the architecture of 112 system. What is the architecture? Bulgaria, there are 6 PSAPs. All PSAPs integrated through the voice, common database, common technology via VPN cloud. Territorially, in Bulgaria, the PSAPs are following the economic regions. In Bulgaria, there are 6 economic regions, one center in each region. This is the picture of Center Sofia, not very clear here, where will be received the eCalls. There are one redundant center in Ruse and the Danube River, 2 centers in the Black Sea, 1 center in the Rhodope Mountain. This is the architecture of eCall that follows fully the architecture for the 112 system. How is eCall received? The eCall is treated exactly the same way why the regular E112 call. What is and then the eCall is dispatched MSD and voice to the operator following the same logic as the logic of a regular 112 call. What is advantage? We can outline some main advantage of this. First is providing add-on on the service continuity. Why? For example, if there is no free call taker in one center, in one center, automatically eCall is transferred to free operator in other center. Also, if there is failure in one center, the eCall will be served in other center. The next main advantage is the serving of multilingual eCall. We here use the good practice, we have it in multilingual serving of the 112. And they are forwarded to proper operator automatically by extension of the international number or manually. And third main advantage is in this approach needs less efforts in training the operators because they are using the same resources. They are the same GIS, the same co-location in the GIS, and the last is they're using the integrated case leading operator screen form. You see the upper panel is the regular E112 call. The down panel here is the data of the eCall. That is MSD, event decoder, and the bottom are the buttons for controlling the eCall receiving. What is the architecture, technical architecture of the pilot? eCall includes 3 main models. The first model is the receiver, where is the eCall modem. When PBX transfer the calls to this receiver, there is a module for extracting and sending the MSD to existing system, the second one. And third module is VIN decoding. Here you can see the picture of the servers which functional these models. What is the results of testing the solution at the moment? They are done on-road tests with existing IVS, 2 types IVS in Bulgaria in the 4 sessions, October, November, and December 2013, and February 14. All tests are done using the test client, which allows to visualize the eCall data on the training operator station. What is the interoperability test? The interoperability tests at the moment are done 2 interoperability tests between PSAP Sofia with 2 Belgian IVS. There are interoperability tests with Croatia IVS in Romania. They are planned with Spain very soon, maybe the next month. And second set of interoperability tests between our IVS of Technical University and the ICOM with other PESAP. They are met with during the conference in Bucharest with PESAP in Bucharest. Technical University IVS made tests with Greek and Croatia PESAP, and ICOM made operability tests with Croatia. Bulgaria is interesting that the Bulgaria pilot is divided into two. The first stage, what are we testing at the moment, doesn't include eCall flag, and here in the model, these two logical connection, one logical connection that sent MSD, the other logical connection that acquire data from the VIN decoding are not functioning. They all do be done in the second stage. The one add-on come the first stage of the project is the connection to VIN database. It was not planned in the first stage, and all the VIN decoded information in Bulgaria is in the National Vehicle Register, which is maintained by Bulgarian Traffic Police. This VIN database is connected to the site, and also what is important, they are developed necessary services to join this VIN database to Eurocaris database. At the moment, this is tested through the test platform of Eurocaris and test VIN database. About the training, is operator's training manual already produced, and the VIP operator in PESAP Sofia passed training course. About the eCall, in Bulgaria are operating three main MNOs with their own mobile networks, and two of them already implemented the eCall flag. One of these is a participant in the Bulgarian consortium. The third operator will implement the flag till the end of 2014. And what are our goals in the pilot project? This is first the goals put in the project plan from the second stage. This is integration with the PESA, full integration, in order the operator PESA Sofia to receive the eCall and to send it the emergency control center. Second, to eCall flag to be implemented in production environment and to be done test with second MNO. And third is connection with VIN database, which will be done, or with Eurocaris database if it is available at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, let's start. George, I have a question for you. You said in your presentation that there was a wide acceptance of eCall for the Greek population. And how did you come about this? Was it a survey that you did?
I have said it according to the Eurobarometer measurement. Mm-hmm. It was shown that Greece was one of the highest percentage of acceptance of eCall in Europe, 79%. One of the highest. Would like to have it in their next car. And this is done, Eurobarometer makes such surveys.
Lovely, thank you. I think it will await with interest the next phase of testing, particularly as the eCall flag will be used. And as you've seen with the other two pilot sites as they're describing, because they have the direct support of mobile networks, they have more control. We weren't that fortunate when we started HeERO 1. We didn't know that was going to be a huge problem. We were led to believe that everybody was supporting it and it would be really good. But of course it didn't quite happen. But it's really pleasing to see that will happen in Greece. in respect of the presentation from Turkey, I mean, it's a really good pilot site. What you didn't tell everybody is the program that Turkey has running to upgrade your counties to 112, which is incredibly aggressive to ensure that all of Turkey is covered with 112. Yeah. So that is one massive program which is taking place beside eCall. And the other one I point you to for the information that Mustafa provided was that they have a vehicle manufacturer working with them. And the vehicle manufacturers that are working with the Turkish pilot site have taken their experience from the Italian pilot site, borrowed it, and sent it to Turkey. So, again, HeERO 1 is informing HeERO 2. For Bulgaria, the presentation that was provided, there was, again, another piece of information that Josif didn't say, was that when Bulgaria started on the HeERO 2 path, a challenge was given out by the Bulgarian government because the rate of change for vehicles in Bulgaria is not as quick, usually, as other member states. And they quite rightly said, well, hang on a minute, what about all the other citizens? So a challenge was thrown out, and I'm very pleased to say that the technical companies who are in the consortium responded to that challenge and were able to provide the first aftermarket eCall device, which was demonstrated very early last year at a really, really good price. And again, you see the operator training. They've designed their operator training and the fields so that a PSAP operator doesn't see that much difference. They get the information, but they don't see the difference. So that's a very key point. One other item that I think I should explain to you all here. You've seen, I'll come to you in a minute. Okay, Lina. You've seen reference to Eucharis. Now, Eucharis is a European car registration information system. So basically, it's a link between all of the registration systems in Europe. And it's a fundamental point or part of eCall because it allows a vehicle which is from another member state to be identified. There are other ways that it can be done, but Eucharis is one of the ways that we use it. So there is a question over there, so please, could you say your name and where you're from, and then your question and who you'd like to provide the answer?
Marios Domoxoulis from Aegean Motorway. It's a concession company. I would like to ask a question to Mr. Patsyavos, whether the eCall system has the ability to interconnect with the systems operating in the management centers of the highways that are under concession.
During the context of the HeERO project, our approach was that we have a technical consultant that has undertaken to perform the tests according to the program, and it was selected to be done in Athens and Thessaloniki. Now we have 1 more month and a half to complete the tests. We are ready to accept your proposal and include tests from the road that you propose to be included in the test phase of next month. So we will have results also from these kind of tests. We can do it.
Does that provide the answer for you? Okay, so I think that discussion is going to go offline, but I think the answer is the facility is there if you wish to test. Are there any other questions? Pavel.
My name is Pavel Britic. I come from Croatia. I'm national coordinator for eCall in Croatia. And my question is, how many crash tests you plan in your pilots? In all countries, in Greece, Bulgaria,
so
and Turkey.
this is a question for all three of you.
Excuse me, colleague. My question is how many crash tests, real crash tests?
Yeah, we have videos of Pavel actually did really crash cars. And we have the video evidence. So the question is to the other pilot sites is, have you carried out any real crash tests, or are you planning to?
We have currently started the field tests, so we haven't provided any crash tests, but in the future, maybe. But currently, we have no plan for the crash test.
Yes, the Greek pilot site is expected to finish by the end of June, so we have not planned any crash test. We don't have time to do it. We are only focused to make tests with eCall flag, and this is our intention. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to tell the audience that the Croatian pilot site carried out some extensive crash tests with volunteers, and which are all being videoed and were very valuable. And also the Czech Republic carried out crash tests with a brand new Skoda. So if you see a red Skoda Fabia for sale with one careful owner, don't buy it because it's probably been crashed. But there have been a number of real crash tests. So it was a line-fit Czech registered vehicle that was crashed into a wall to actually prove that the system will work. And in a similar way, the crash tests in Croatia used a number of different scenarios with different types of crashes to actually simulate and it was HAC who assisted you with this, wasn't it, with the motoring organisation, to actually demonstrate to their membership that actually eCall is a real item, it makes a difference, and it works in more than one accepted type of impact. Are there any other questions? Oh, there's one at the back there. Quick.
I'm Katia Pagle. I'm from the National Technical University of Athens. I wanted to ask you, Andy, about the third-party services you mentioned, and what are the changes that, could you elaborate a little bit more on the changes that you expect on the operation of the PSAPs?
So I didn't catch the question. The microphone isn't very good.
Very close, eh?
That's better.
Okay, sorry. You mentioned the third-party services and that they will impose some changes in the operation of the PSAPs. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that in order to understand what to expect as examples? Thank you.
Yes, I mean, as an example, already General Motors have announced that from next year, for 2015, they will provide the OnStar service will be available in Europe. So the significance is that General Motors will come to every single member state and will say to them, we will sell vehicles in your country which will have third-party service eCall. That service will have a digital output, so it'll be just a similar type of field to what you see now from 112 eCall, but it comes in a different format. So what each member state must face is that it's not just one vehicle maker. The next one will be Jaguar Land Rover. After that, BMW will come to your door, then Peugeot Citroën, then Renault, then Mercedes, then Volvo. So you have all of these different systems, and they are not standardized at all. So they will come to your door. The next complexity that I touched on was that there is a new system which will be launched next year called AACD, which is Advanced Automatic Collision Detection. BMW will launch it next year on all of their models. The simplest way, as Dimitris touched on, it's eCall on steroids. It not only will give you all of the information that eCall based on 112 will give you, but how many passengers in the car, where the vehicle was hit, the rate of deceleration, sometimes if it's a really high-end vehicle, the heart rate, blood pressure of the people that are in the vehicle, and so it goes on. There is also algorithms that are associated to that set of data which would decide which hospital that casualty should go to. Now, the question I pose of you is, this is all very good, and it's cutting-edge technology, but each member state has got to find a way of dealing with that, and not all can. This has been developed originally for the American market, and they have the capability to deal with that. But this volume and type of data, if you can imagine one of your operators sitting at a screen and they get a call, and it won't be a 112 call, it'll be an ex-directory call, so a direct line call from a vehicle manufacturer or his representative said, I have a problem. One of my client's car has crashed, I have data I need to send you. And then this bucket load of data arrives, you've got to try and interpret that, but it's for each different vehicle manufacturer, and they will all follow that path. So that's the level of complexity we're talking about. Does that help? Good. Any other questions? Oh, there's one.
Following the past question, if I looked correctly at the presentation from Bulgaria, you have found a way to deal with these private services. Am I correct?
No, there are technical solutions. The German pilot site has a specific technical solution which will accept these and decode them. But it's more because of the political vacuum that's been created. The vehicle makers are now jumping in to fill the vacuum. And it's the visits that will occur and the requirement, well, it's a member state choice as to whether they accept these third-party service calls or not. There are member states who will not accept them. So I'm sorry, we don't do that. 112 is our eCall. If you want anything else, you can go somewhere else and do it. But it is a fact that these exist, and they're getting more complicated. One has to say it's very nice, but does it actually make the initial rescue any better? And probably the answer is no, because I sat and developed the minimum set of data to start with, that the first responders needed. And all this other information is useful, but doesn't actually assist with the extraction. Any other questions? Because I think I've... Oh, right.
My name is Lina Konstantinopoulou from Ertiko. I would like to make a question to the Greek Ministry of Transport. What are the next challenges to face for the full implementation of eCall? I mean, after the end of HeERO, what happens? I think this is something that is maybe interesting to know. Maybe to all of the pilot sites. I mean, for the full implementation.
Yes, what happens after the end of eCall? I think that chapter's yet to be written. The timings that were selected for both HeERO 1 and HeERO 2 were quite deliberate in the fact that the anticipated deployment date should have been next year, 2015. However, that hasn't happened. So there are plans afoot, certainly to continue the development of eCall, and Ertiko are in discussions with DG Move because there are requirements for all member states by the 1st of October 2017 to have achieved their upgrade, so their public safety answering point can receive eCall. So there's work to be done there, and DG Move are guiding member states as to how to go about that. There's also new work to be carried out for eCall for trucks, because don't forget that a huge proportion of the goods that travel throughout Europe use roads still. And that's another significant area of work. Ertico in its own right wishes to bring together partners, both from inside and outside of Ertico, to look at the issues such as how do you manage the 3 different types of eCall coming into the PSAP? How do you balance out the term eCall should exist on an open platform? What does that mean? And how can those items be brought forward? So there's an awful lot of work to be done. There doesn't appear to be any more, there will be no more funded work at the moment, as we understand from DG Connect. Ertico are always there. We've spent a long, long time being associated with eCall, and we represent every single stakeholder community for eCall. So we are keen not to let this go. We're so close now, you can almost touch it. So we don't want to let this go away. Does that help, Lena?
Kind of. No, it's just that I think that, especially from the pilot side implementations, we cannot lose the opportunity to lose the momentum. And the momentum is now. We have we have this implementation of eCall in every pilot side. I think now it's important for to continue this kind of operation tests, even though there is not going to be funding, I suppose. But still, there must be a way to continue these different implementations for the full implementation of eCall. I think I'm right in that.
The reality with the pilot sites.
Sorry, my name is Georgia Efedopoulou from the Hellenic Institute of Transport. We are consultants, subcontractors of the Ministry of Transport, together with the National Technical University of Athens, regarding the evaluation of the pilot and also the roadmap for the future. So what is currently, in order to give an answer to Lina's question, there are, apart of the technical things, there are also other challenges related to the governance between the different actors, also the interface with the private stakeholders, industry, technology providers, that they are involved. Right now, under the leadership of the Ministry of Transport, Mr. Patsiavos, Mrs. Papathanasopoulou, what is happening is that we are creating and operating a community of stakeholders, private and public stakeholders, who try to see all the organizational, the legal, and other barriers, and what is the way to alleviate these barriers in order to have a full implementation of eCall in Greece. This is going to be at the end, will finish at the end of May, and there's going to be a roadmap with specific, actually not a roadmap, an action plan. Sometimes we are using the terms, and it's very, it's going to be an action plan with deadlines, duties for the different stakeholders who agreed to cooperate under the supervision of the Ministry of Transport in this effort, and define who has to do what until when, in order to have the full implementation of eCall. And I think there are many, many things at the level of legal and organizational aspects.
No, thank you very much for that, because that is a very clear statement of how Greece will proceed. Not all member states, including the HeERO partners, I have to say, are not that clear. What the HeERO project has provided for some member states, and Croatia is a point because they're a very strong supporter of eCall, as are Greece and Romania, and they're clear about where they want to go and how they're going to get there. Other member states have had the opportunity to see what the impact will be on their infrastructure, what their architecture looks like, what they need to do. So technically, they know what they need to do now. What they haven't started to do is what you're doing now, is bringing the stakeholders together, having the discussions with an action plan, saying, by this date, so you now know the date, we have to be ready. And still, this is where I went back to my slide, where I said member states are still waiting for the legislation to be completed. And it's coming, we know, but there are some member states, not HeERO partners, who will wait till the last moment until they actually have to legally do what they are required to do. And then they'll start talking about it. And then they'll realise that it's actually not quite as easy as they thought it would be. In that respect, there are still problems to be resolved. We have, at current count now, I've got 7 countries who are now queuing to receive assistance to understand what they need to do. This is outside of the associate pilot sites, which are the 8. I have another 7 countries queuing to say, okay, we accept, we know eCall is coming based on 112. What do we need to do? Please tell us. So they're trying to catch you up. They've made the acknowledgement that eCall will come and are now recognising that they need to put funding aside, put technical expertise aside, and find the way of dealing with this. Unfortunately, through the auspices of DG Connect, we now have the means to say to them, technically, we can show you what you need to do. We have the documentation, you have the audits that you need to find what architecture you need to change, what items you need to bring in. Don't do this because it doesn't work. Do this because it does. So I'm very gladdened with the statement you made with regard to that, because that is really positive action to bring forward eCall in Greece.
If I can add one more word, I think in the same way the Commission or let's say EU have supported the technical development and the pilot implementation of HeERO, of eCall through HeERO 1, HeERO 2, I think is the moment that I believe this is not only for eCall, it's for all the innovation and research outcomes that we have seen since these years until now. I think there is a need for a support for innovation implementation, which will look at these issues for full implementation of technological solutions. Even in the case of eCall, where we have a strong political, let's say, willingness from EU. Therefore, probably I would like to suggest a HeERO 3 that will deal exactly with these issues, because I referred to the action plan that we are preparing together with the ministry. We have the stakeholders recognizing the problems and the barriers. We don't have solutions for all of them. I'm not expecting that on May we're going to have solution on all of them. So a common knowledge to be gained among those countries that had the experience of the pilots and they are committed to go further for the full implementation, probably it will be worth to happen, and probably it will be worth to be supported by EU funds again. Thank you.
No, I agree with your statement that we need to find a mechanism to be able to gather this information together and share. This is quite important, because this is the first real deployment of an ITS, hard ITS device in Europe. And yes, there have been mistakes made, but we've learnt by them, and we've tried to put them right. But there are strategies that, if I had a personal choice, I wouldn't follow them again. And I think I need to finish. But we have learnt from this, but you're right, we need to capture the very best parts of this and be able to share it. There are the deliverables, I mean, that's there as a given, but you need to be able to pick the good bits out and make them available to everybody.